What's up, you guys? And welcome back to another incredible episode of Your Favorite Aunties Podcast.
So excited. Couple of announcements before we start this great episode. One, we're going on tour.
Yes.
The tour starts in a couple of weeks, so make sure you get your tickets, not just your general admission tickets, but your meet and greet tickets. So if you want to take pictures and you want to laugh and you want to talk and you want to get some personal time with the aunties, make sure you get your meet and greet ticket. We'll be in DC in May, New York City in June, and Dallas in July. Tickets are available at the link in our description and all of our bios and at yourfavoriteauntiespodcast.com. We also got to promo Butterskin. I've heard us talk about it, these amazing skincare products. So make sure you go visit Butterskin. Go to butterskin.com/yourfavoriteauntiespod. See what our recommendations are and get your skin right.
Oh, yeah.
So important, right?
That's how you say looking young and youthful. You know.
Speaking of young and youthful, in a few days, it will be your birthday. Happy birthday, friend.
Thank you so much.
How do you feel about turning 35?
It feels serious.
Yeah.
I feel good about it, but it just feels, that sounds real grown.
It is grown. You're a grown woman.
I'm 18.
That was a while ago.
baby.
Almost double 18.
Why would you bring
sorry.
that up?
That was too much. That was my bad. That's my bad. So y'all make sure to show her some love in the comments, in her DMs, via CashApp, Zelle, Venmo, cashier's check,
Amazon wish list. All the things.
All the things. So happy birthday, TT Sham, May 5th.
You know, we real close right now.
We are, because it is a very special show. We have a special guest, the capacity expert herself.
Clock it.
Raquel.
Raquel.
So tell the audience a little bit about yourself before we get into capacity.
Oh my gosh. So I'm a therapist. I'm licensed. Let me say, because they be coming for you on social media.
Yeah, hello. So, we understand.
Yeah.
I also have a background in HR. I'm like, what do y'all want to know? Like, this is always
everything. So when you say you're a capacity expert, what does that mean?
It means that I am going to stretch you, get you to become whoever it is that you need to be, so that you step into whatever the best version of yourself is, whether that's wife, mom, professional, the person that wants to do all of the things. It's more about who do you need to become. So, and there's a lot of talk about just mental health and all those things. So I want to make sure that we don't allow those things to get in our way when we're talking about becoming whatever you say the best version of yourself is, right? Because that's subjective, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Not everybody wants to be doing all of the things. So I'm mindful of that. But capacity, I termed it myself. I took it from out of this theory is adult development. And at the time I was working as VP of HR for a global telecommunications company. I was wife, mom of one at the time. And I was like, this ain't it. This is like, I was good at coping, but I was like, you need more. Like, if I'm exhausted, drained, still don't know who I am, sense of identity, like, who is it that I need to become in order to live the life that I've actually chosen? That's the other thing. A lot of us are choosing the demands that we have, whether it's we want to date, we want to get married, we want to have children, we want to put our kids and all of the things. We want to have girlfriend time. Like, you got to become somebody else in order to be able to manage all of those things. So that's where capacity comes from.
And we just talked about capacity and understanding everybody else doesn't have the same type of capacity as you or for you. We just talked about that in one of the other episodes.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we did. So when you talk about like building someone's capacity, what does that look like? How do you expand somebody's capacity?
It's your thinking. So it is your cognitive ability to be flexible and adaptable based off of whatever life is presenting to you in that moment. Because, nothing stays the same, right? Everything is always changing.
This is
Always
true.
changing. So am I supporting you in terms of equipping you to be able to deal with life, like, no matter what? No matter what.
So I know that you encounter so many people. What do you feel like is the biggest thing that stops them from their capacity? Is it just, where their mind can go, or are there other things that you've seen?
So I think today we have so much information, resources, and tools available to us. So if the gist of my content is wrapped around like our conversations around mental health, right? Mm-hmm. And when we talk about mental health, we talk about it from like, this is serious. You want to make sure that you're taking care of it. And while there's some truth to that, the real understanding of mental health is understanding that it's a tool, it's a vehicle that you need to use in order to develop your capacity. So if you're always protecting your peace, protecting your energy, protecting your mental health, then you're shielding yourself off from developing your capacity. So I end up working with a lot of people that are operating in that space, and they're like, well, something still feels off. Like something still feels off. Well, you can't grow in a state of protection, because when you say that you're protecting your mental health, you're protecting really how you think, feel, and behave. And that needs to change if you want life to open up and offer you something else. So that's what I see, because most people want to be able to navigate life with a sense of confidence and grace. Like whether it's a bad relationship, whether it's somebody giving you constructive feedback, you want to know that you can handle it.
Right.
Like that you're not having to constantly retreat, take a self-care day, go on another vacation. Like I can be present with the life that I have on a consistent basis. And then all of the other things just become a byproduct of who you are as a person. Like you don't go on vacation because, oh my gosh, I need a break from life. Like you go on vacation because this is a part of how I live.
That's good.
So that's what I help people with. And it started with my own journey, because when I went into the mental health program, like I said, I was already juggling a lot, right? And I was like, give me more. Like I need something else. And I just started exploring. I had already went to a coaching program at the time, and my thinking started expanding. And I would say for me, my thinking started expanding as a woman, and then I would say as a Black woman. And as that started to stretch and expand, my life started to stretch and expand. And marriage is good, the kids are good. Like life is good. I ain't lying. Life is real good. Life is good.
That's amazing.
Yeah, life is good.
Really good.
God is good.
Amen. Okay.
There you go.
All
God
the time.
is good. And all the time,
God is good.
Hello.
So because you just said, so you just brought up your marriage. Because we don't know what your marriage was like, pre you coming into this mindset, post you coming into this mindset, how do you feel like it shifted? Like what was the turning point? And did your husband come along with you on that?
No, he did not come along with me on that. And I think that that's important, because we think that in relationships in general, that you have to be on the same page. But when you're married or in a friendship, whatever it may be, like people have their own paths, they have their own journeys, and you can end up being a byproduct to whatever it is that I'm supposed to learn and how I'm trying to grow for myself. So I would say no, because I'm trying to figure out who I am. And that may not necessarily align with where he was or where he was at the time. So no, and I would say where our marriage was, we were probably 7-8 years in at the time. I don't know. You just be like, do I want to do this? Because everything it feels like the same every single day. Like it just like a routine. You don't necessarily have an appreciation for what you're actually building. So I would say today, every day is like it's a part. Today it's like it's a partnership. You have an appreciation for what you're building. You can see the pieces coming together. You can see how you're interconnected. You can see how like you're no better than him and vice versa. You start to appreciate that you may be the person that's doing more of the work, but they may be filling in other places. So it just changes. I think that not that your expectations change for the other person, the expectations for yourself start to change. And once I was able to look inward, it was less about what he was doing or what he wasn't doing, and more about who are you going to be regardless of who he chooses to be. And when you can be who you're going to be regardless of who he chooses to be, it just, if you got the right person, because I do got the right person.
Amen. Okay? That's good.
It just worked out. It just worked out. So And that's capacity. That's capacity, because when you're in a relationship, it's easy to be like, I need you to do this. You should be doing this. And it's like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing? So it's really hard to look inward. It is so much easier to like place blame on other people than to turn inward and really focus on like, what are you feeling? Like, what's driving those emotions for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
So going back to what you said on your journey, you began to think differently as a woman, as a Black woman. What were some of those things that you may have been realizing or starting to think? What changed?
What you want me to start with, Black woman or just a woman in general?
Both.
Just both. Okay, start a woman.
So you can start a woman.
Start a woman.
You're gonna be doing a lot of the work.
Just accepting
like,
that.
I think just we weren't made to be the same. Like, you're a man for it, you're a woman for it, and I think that nurturing piece. I think I'm gonna speak for myself. I'm a little controlling, and by controlling meaning I want things to be a certain way. Yeah. And when you want things to be a certain way, people are not gonna jump and move accordingly to how you want things to be. So I think that for me, it was understanding, okay, what makes me a woman? Like, what makes this house a home? What gives me a sense of peace? And it's like really owning your choices as a woman. Like, I want to do all of the things. And because you want to do all of the things, that means that you're probably going to carry some additional weight that he may not pick up. And I think that for me, I'm not saying that there are not some days where I'm like, dang, I'm tired. But for the most part, I'm like, I lean into who I am as a woman, and I don't want to be burdened or to feel like I can only show up as a mom, or this is what it looks like to be a mom, or this is what it looks like to be a wife. Like, I'm going to do all of the things. Like, so that was hard initially, because it's like, oh, being a woman is hard, and people tell you about all of the limitations, and then it's easy to go onto social media and it's like, oh, being a woman is hard, being a mom is hard. Like, you're juggling all of these things, but you have to remember that you chose. Like, I chose to have children. I chose to get married. And for me, it's when I start to focus on what I actually chose, I can still create space for how I feel, but I'm no longer being a victim to the choices.
That's good.
And then the Black woman thing, that's been, I would say that's been the hardest. And that's more so rooted in my experiences, because I'm not going to say the typical story, but like, what society presents in terms of data for us, right? You always hear the bad stuff. And typical for me, you grew up in the projects. I lost my mom to an overdose. She's going to become a statistic. And then by the time I'm 18 years old, I find out, okay, I have a family member that's made it, who has done very well for himself. And that changes the trajectory of my life in the sense of, I get a seat at the table. I get to see life from a place of privilege. And seeing life from a place of privilege it made me recognize that no one's exempt from adversity. Like, nobody gets through life unscathed. And that was really, really hard for me. I used to say, like, I'd rather go back to the projects than to experience the privilege. And most people would say, oh, that's trauma. Well, no, it's not trauma. It's a life transition. It's a change. Like, you don't expect people to navigate something new very well. So I didn't know that at the time, but when I go back to think about it, when I graduated from college and, you're talking to your friends and they're telling you about their corporate jobs, what people didn't know that I was struggling with was I didn't feel like I had earned my spot because, okay, she works for her uncle, so you didn't deserve to be there. I didn't know what microaggressions were, even though I was still experiencing them. I didn't know what gaslighting was, even though I was still experiencing them. But I silenced myself because it's like, you don't have any place to talk because you're in a place of privilege. So for me, it's also very hard for me to play victim in that sense, because I don't believe that everything is black and white in terms of how we present it or how information is presented to us. And a lot of that is just from my experiences. And when you can take yourself outside of your story, you can start to see how so much of life and people, it's interconnected in so many different ways. So I would say those were the two hardest things for me. Like, all right, I don't want to blame everything. I can't. Like, I feel like I can't today. I can't blame everything on being Black because my experiences have shown me otherwise. So I live with a sense of liberation, I would say.
That's good.
Yeah, so my default isn't, oh, I'm Black. My default is it's less about I'm Black, I'm a woman. Like, it's more about who do I want to be. Like, you know, I am love, I'm curiosity, I am service, I am support. So I try, because I'm still human, right? Like, depending on the day, I might clap. I might not feel no love.
Okay.
But I try to lead more from that and less about, like, the roles that society assigned us with.
That's good.
How do you feel like you became unapologetic? Because when I listen to you, you sound like you speak from a place of, I'm not apologizing for who I become. And I'm here because I need to be here, and it just is what it is. That's what it sounds like when I hear you speak. So do you find that to be true? Do you feel like you're coming from that place, an unapologetic place? Or, like, how do you feel about that?
I think I trust who I am. I trust my journey more than anything. Like, and when I say my journey, it's the people that I support. It's all of my experiences. So I hear what you're saying when you say, like, unapologetic. I just trust my journey. Like, I trust who I am. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that what I'm saying is right or that it's true. It's just, I just trust who I am. I trust life. I trust that if I'm saying something that's off the wall, like, someone will call you out and, you know, you'll move on. Like, life is always extending an invitation for us to grow. So, and I live in that. Like, and it's taken you know, I done got some bumps and some bruises along the way, okay?
Yeah, for
I done got some bumps and bruises along the way, and I appreciate it. So I think unapologetic, I don't know, I'm like, does that resonate with me? That's what I'm like, because I know what it's like, it's the courage. You sound confident.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, girl, when you ain't always, when you haven't always been confident, right? Like, I think people don't realize, like, you don't just wake up or somebody teaches you confidence. You got to go through the grit of life to develop that sense of confidence. And like I said, like, starting my career out working for a family member, like, there was no confidence. Like, I was really good at masking it, like appearing confident because I could hide behind, oh, I got an MBA, I'm VP, whatever the title is that I wanted to give you. My uncles did blah. But it wasn't, like, authentic. There was nothing really authentic about it. So today it just flows. Like, I'm not trying to be, like, unapologetic. It just flows. Unless I, like, feel like today I want to.
It's a choice, right?
It's a choice, right?
Yeah. So when we're talking about capacity, I think this is just such an interesting topic. What does it look like if I don't have enough capacity? How do I show up in life? How can somebody identify, like, you know what, maybe I do need to build my capacity?
Well, most of us will say, I don't have the capacity. Don't we say that? I don't have the capacity. And we think about capacity from the sense of how much can I carry, right?
Yep.
And I always tell people that it has nothing to do with what you carry. You have to learn how to carry differently, right? And it's, what do I need to learn to carry differently so that I can start expanding my capacity? So again, I would go, we're not born with a certain amount of capacity, right? Like, you have to continue to allow life to stretch and expand you, but you got to be open to those challenges, right? I know y'all are believers. First thing that comes to my mind, consider it pure joy, right? When we already
diverse.
And it talks about maturity at the end of that scripture, right? So if we are saying, I don't want life to, what did I say? Most people are like make it stop. Like, I want to finally arrive at a place, right? And that's not what it's about. The more that you expect life to get easier, the harder it actually gets.
Ooh, stay right there. That's the truth. And life's not easy
at all.
So you want to be able to handle it. So if someone is saying, you know what, tired of being tossed to and fro, like I want to be able to stand confidently, navigate different things when they come, do they have to go to therapy, or is there something they can do in their everyday life to start expanding and growing their capacity?
So I don't think that therapy is a requirement for growth. Now, that does not mean that you shouldn't try it.
For sure.
But like this conversation, like I'll walk away from this conversation with something and I'll choose if I want to do something with it. You guys will walk away with something from this conversation and choose. So it's the podcast, it's what you feed yourself with. We don't grow in therapy. We don't grow in coaching. I always say you grow in the streets. Like you grow in the streets. You don't grow in the room. You learn the tools and the things that you can use while you're navigating life. But if you don't take what you're learning in therapy and translate it outside, it don't matter.
That's true.
So, it's not a prereq for anything. Because some people never do therapy and they're open to friendship. They're open to being challenged. They're curious. And you can naturally grow because you're that type of person.
That's really good.
So with your audience, because it has grown so much.
I don't know where those folks came from.
We've been watching you.
Me too. I'm watching it too.
I'm watching myself. Like, wait, y'all watch me.
Your growth has been crazy.
It's God.
And we've experienced that. Like,
that's it.
1 minute, don't nobody know who you are. The next minute, it's like everybody, how have you been handling that? And what messages do you think you've been sending out to even get this type of attention?
Truth.
Always.
Truth. I think hard truths, right? And it conflicts with what we talk about within the mental health space. So the messaging that I continue to put out is like life will not be without pain. A lot of people want to escape life and don't necessarily want to endure life. And I don't think nobody really wants to hear that. Like, or even I think of my post today when I say like trauma is subjective and it's your perception. Like this idea that you can grow beyond your story and your pain. Nobody wants to hear that. Like there is a such thing as post-traumatic growth disorder. It's when you transform from your experiences, but it's the accountability that comes with that piece. So I think that people is, when you think about how we're wired as humans, we are inherently wired for growth, but we're also inherently wired to protect ourselves. So you have two things happening is people are like, well, she's trying to stretch us, but I also need to protect myself. So, you get a lot of push and pull in that sense, but people want to grow. And that's what I think. That's why I think that the following has grown the way that it has. And I'm willing to say what people are not willing to say either. Like, I'm okay with discomfort. So I'm okay with, so I guess there's a couple things, right? And people are like, oh, you're a therapist. Like, I think that people imagine like, hey, Nia, how was your day today? Like, how was your week today, Nia? Like, what's going on? Like, I know we talk like, so I think that there's this perception of how you should be as a therapist. And I don't fit that mold per se, because it's like, you're not creating a safe space. And I'm like, I'm not your therapist. Like the safe space is within that environment. But again, when you walk outside, it's no longer safe anymore. Like I always tell people, like if your peace is contingent upon a safe space all the time, you do not have peace. You don't have peace.
That's
you
good.
Just have a world that you need managed or need to be bubble wrapped. I don't know. Because
no, I totally understand. I definitely share the same sentiments. I'm more of like a straightforward, like life is life. We're going to do this and get through it, but I'm not expecting it to be just all flowers and sunshine. But I do see that in our generation, we were definitely, especially post-COVID, go to therapy, mental health. And we talk about it on this podcast because it is important. But one of your viral videos was talking about how we've gone to the other side of how important mental health is. And now we're so fragile. Nothing can happen. Oh my gosh, my mental health is breaking apart. And it's like, no, life is happening. Yeah. So how do you talk to the people who are fragile without being, I guess, too harsh? I don't know. How do you navigate that?
Validation, right?
Yeah.
Because what you and I both are saying is like, we understand that life can be hard and life is hard for some people, right? But it's, all right, it's hard, but what do you want out of it? And I think it's giving people the choice, right? I'm not going to tell you that life is hard and you need to move on. It's like, what do you want from this life? What do you want from this here life? And based off of what you want from it, I'll support you from there, because it's being realistic, right? Not everybody wants the same things. Again, I want it all. Whatever that looks like, I want it all. Like when my final days are here, I want to be able to look back over my life with a sense of integrity, not regret.
Yeah.
And the people that I usually encounter, or at least my coaching clients, right? They have the same belief. They don't know how to communicate it, but they're like, something feels off. I'm still searching for something next. So it's really about meeting people where they are. I don't think it's so when I talk about emotional fragility in those little 90-second clips, right? Mm-hmm. I've been fragile before. I've weaponized my emotions. So a lot of where I'm speaking from is my own growth and development, right? It's not to attack, because as a human, you're going to experience a wide range of emotions and experiences. The problem with staying in a fragile state is resiliency matters. Like, it's the key to be able to handle adversity, because life's trials and challenges, they will not stop. Now, they will feel less personal and like life isn't an attack when you are no longer operating from that place. Like sometimes, like, cause my husband, he's like, did you got on a Cinderella, like you just twirling, like, do you realize like life is happening? I do realize that life is happening, but sometimes it's not that I'm expecting things to be hard. I just don't take life so personal anymore. Like, it just is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I can definitely relate to that. And people tell me a lot, even when things are going on, like, oh, you're so strong, or, oh, it's life. I'm just going to keep doing what I got to do. Like, I can't go in the corner and cry.
You can.
I can.
You can.
That's not what I want.
You can. And, well, do you probably suck? Now you about to make me put on my therapy. Do you sit with your emotions?
I do now.
Okay.
It's okay to feel my feels. But before, I was like, look, I ain't got time.
Okay.
I got to do what I got to do.
Okay, well, you good
now.
then.
Yeah.
You good then. Okay,
but I mean, I don't crumble when things happen. I'm able to face them.
And that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's what matters. Yeah. That's what matters. Not crumbling, but knowing that I can give myself the space to cry. And then sometimes you don't have the time to.
True.
So you just
life
do it.
Keeps going.
Yeah, life keeps going, but you can always come back. Yeah.
For sure.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm very sensitive, but also I'm very hard. But it just depends. Like, I am hard because I have to be, but at my core, like, I'm sensitive because if she says something to me, I'll be like, but that's because I love her and I have a relationship with her. On the outside, somebody say something, I'd be like, boot you. It's okay. Like, your opinion doesn't matter. It's just the people who are closer to me, that's when I get like real sensitive about things.
So you're not sensitive
for everyone, no.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Okay. You love hard.
I do. Okay. I'm a lover girl.
Okay.
I am a lover. How you
know? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a lover girl through and through. Sometimes she be getting on me about it. Like, she's like, Shmiri, no. Don't let that person in. They are a snake.
No, that's what I wanted to talk about too, though, because as we're navigating, I think we've been very intentional about our journeys and our growth mentally, emotionally, but you're out in the world navigating with people who are not.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have the capacity or they're not signing up for growth. So how do you navigate not just, okay, me personally, I'm working on myself, but I'm out here navigating with people who are not?
Yeah.
Judgment. It's judgment. I think that when we get to a certain place, you forgot that you came from that place.
Mm-hmm.
And that matters because if you're truly integrating your experiences, right? Like if we're taking knowledge and information over into wisdom, how other people navigate their life and where they are on their journey becomes less of an issue to you, because you don't forget that you've become the person because you've had whatever said experiences as well. So it's judgment. I mean, it's judgment. And when I because I try not to. Sometimes when I look, I'm like, you need to go to therapy. But I'm like, that's weaponizing it. Like, you know, because I have those.
Baby, you need help.
You need help.
I can't be the one to do it. But you find you somebody.
Exactly. But then you like, okay, I've been that person.
Yeah.
So for me, it's always about like, and I'm not talking about toxicity, right? To where I'm not referring to that, but you don't forget that you had to come from somewhere too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sound like us when we first got saved. Because I tell anybody in a minute, I would have sent you straight to hell. Like, I'm sorry, what? There is no love here. Like, it's just, but it wasn't until I started needing the grace that I refused to give to where I was like, oh. It was not fun until the rabbit got the gun. You know, I mean, it was fun until the rabbit got the gun. Like, I was like, oh, okay, let me chill. Let me stop looking at you a little crazy because I wasn't right before I went to therapy. So let me just.
That's hard. It's hard to do though, honestly.
Yeah.
It's hard to do because again, we like to arrive. And it's like when I finally have found like my space, I got my peace. And that's why I say if your peace is contingent upon the right environment, it's like, do you really have peace? Because can I sit with you and you are not as evolved as I am? Like, I still learn so much from, because we all have prejudice and make judgments. Like, I'm still making the judgments, but not in a way to where I can no longer connect with a person.
That's
to
good.
Where I feel like I am much more superior than you. Now, other people, like, if you're talking to my husband, like, that's why you are who you are. And I am, because he with it. Like, and I don't know, maybe I wasn't supposed to be like that. I don't know. But I think everybody should, like, come on to it's like, it's so freeing. Like it's like, it's almost like looking at life through children through a child's lens. Like, everything looks new. Everything is exciting. You're always picking up, soaking in new information, because if you work on the judgment there, you get to see something beyond whatever that judgment was.
Yeah, that's really good. I did want to ask too. So as we're thinking about relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, friendships, whatever, is capacity a part of compatibility? Like, should you be looking for friends and romantic partners who have the same capacity as you? Like, should that be something that you're asking, thinking? How does capacity show up in relationships?
It would be nice to have somebody that's already put together, right?
It would be very nice.
That wouldn't require any capacity. It wouldn't. Yeah. It would require what you already have,
right? What
you're already capable of doing. So, I don't know. I'll let you answer that. I'll let you answer that.
The thought of, I understand the idea of capacity and saying, you know, like you won't know your full capacity until you've reached your full capacity. And then also, no, wait, it's expanding. I thought this was as far as I could go, but it's also like, I don't even feel like going this far in this. Is that wrong?
You're more so attached to the outcome versus the person that you can become, right? And let me make this, because people are like, are you telling people to stay in abusive relationship? No, I'm not. Like that just so see what I mean? So y'all have to compare. Like I don't even have to tell you that, right?
Because we experience that too.
No,
people hear what they want to hear,
but people have an ear to hear if they want to, and if they don't, because we be blue in the face trying to explain stuff to folks.
This the hard side of you coming out.
Oh yeah,
the hard side.
Yeah, no, because people they just be getting me all kind of messed up. Because it's like, sometimes it hurts for me to watch people be stupid. It's just, you want to be so ignorant so badly. And it's like, that's not what we said. But they will hear it based on their trauma and or experiences. And it's like, I could explain healing to you, but until you want to be healed, you ain't going to get it. You like sitting in hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because pain is predictable, right? So for what you're talking about, right, or going into a relationship, like nothing about it is predictable. Mm-hmm. Like we like a level of certainty. Like, all right, we have 10 things, we have 8 things in common. Yeah, we're like, okay, this is good. Mm-hmm. Will you sit with the person that you only have 5 things in common? Like, where's 50-50? And that's when we're like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. When really, I tell people, you could be missing out on your thing.
Oh, wow.
You could really be missing out on your thing.
Trying to be too calculated?
Too calculated. Because there's no trust. There's no faith in that. And the other thing is, when we talk about trust, it's like trusting yourself. Like, this person only has those 5 things, right? Do you trust yourself enough to say that if it gets to a place to where it is abusive or it is toxic or it is draining or it really doesn't align, do you trust yourself to walk away? And if you trust yourself to walk away, then what are we talking about then?
You just helped me. Right there.
You trust yourself, don't you?
No. Oh. Not all the time. No, because, okay. Wow, that really just, I don't know. I just heard that a certain type of, so for me, as it relates to romantic relationships, I personally have a hard time trusting males. Mm-hmm. Men are a little bit easy to trust. Mm-hmm. Males, not so much. Because, and when I say a male and a man, I mean like men have integrity. They have valor. They're men of their word. They're assertive. They're this, they're that. Males, you know,
you'll never know what you're gonna get.
Right. So for me, there are times when I have dated males and the males have somehow left me not trusting. But when I think about it, it is, do I just not trust myself because I haven't seen it show up with males before, but I do better with men? You know what I mean? So just to hear you say that and make that difference, I was like,
yeah, because it's less about the male or the man, and it's more about,
do I just trust myself to do what's necessary for myself?
And that is always rocky. Like self-trust, you're always building on that foundation because life is always presenting something else to you. Like life can be presenting a man, right? But you see a lot of male in it too, and it's like, so it's,
men are males.
Always,
They are.
Men are males. They be men.
But they be males too.
They are males. Across the board, a man is still a male.
There you go.
A male cannot always be a man.
There you go. There you go.
But you can still trust yourself.
Correct.
But you can still trust yourself.
So
no matter what they're giving.
But what would you offer to someone who may be like me, to where I'm having to grow in trust because let me stop that. Where I am now is I'm understanding that who I have been, I've only been that way based on the information presented to me. So I can extend my past self grace because she made the best decisions that she could based on what she knew. Yep. Whereas now I'm growing to like, okay, again, you're making the best decisions based on all the information that you have presented before you. So I'm learning to forgive myself for past, actions or things that I've gone through. But it's like now having to navigate trusting myself. What are some actual tips and tricks and just steps that I could take to, you know what? I am trustworthy. I do want the best for myself.
Can I ask you a question first?
It depends.
Yeah, of course. Choose. You don't have to answer.
Okay.
Why do you have to forgive yourself?
I think I'm big on apologies and acknowledgement. So just like looking back, like, dang, I could have made better decisions, but it's like, I made the best decisions that I could. So I'm like, forgiving myself for hurting myself.
So do you have to forgive yourself for information that you didn't have, though?
You might have ate that a little bit.
I want to know what your process, because you got my attention now. Like,
So,
and I'm gonna tell you why. Let me give some context, right?
Yeah.
Because not everybody has the same capacity.
Mhm.
So when I think about like forgiveness, I get it, right? On the surface, I get it. But when we talk about trusting our journey, like if you really trust in your journey, do you need to forgive yourself for how you showed up in any season? Because like, do you have to hold forgiveness and trust like together, or can trust supersede forgiveness? Like, I trust that part of who I was.
I feel like right now, and just internally, I'm going for like, if my past self is speaking to me right now, it's just like, I'm sorry I didn't do better, and this is where you are now. Like, I'm sorry I didn't protect you or make better decisions. Like, I was trying, but I didn't succeed. So then now it's me going back and be like, okay, I forgive you. So that's where when I say forgive myself, that's where I'm coming from.
Okay.
It's just like, but again, looking at my current self to my past self, like, you were a kid. Like, you were, like, I'm saying a child, I was a young adult.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you didn't know better. So are you having to, now talking to you is like, am I having to apologize to myself? Or am I just allowing myself to be?
And I think that's where more life comes in, right? Because as more life comes in and you realize like how all of these experiences have shaped you into becoming a person that truly trusts self, it's less about the forgiveness, because you realize that you've taken all of that information and it translates over into wisdom or the renewing of your mind, right? So because there are levels to healing, right? And when we think of forgiveness, I would say if I was working with a client that was coming in with trauma or whatever it may, dealing with coming out of a really rough relationship, I would start with forgiveness, right? But as we continue to grow up, I want you to truly be able to integrate your life experiences as a whole. So it's less about forgiveness. That way, because you will mess up more. Like it's just bound to happen to where you self-convict yourself. I'm like, I'm doing this. Like, it's part of being human. And that's why I tell people, like, the goal is not to heal yourself from life itself. The goal is to truly figure out how to navigate it. So to me, forgiveness is like the starting point, right? You learn to forgive yourself so that you can extend yourself grace and maybe extend it to others. And then eventually, as we continue to build our capacity, like, we're focusing on that foundation of trust. And with trust, I'm trusting it all. I'm trusting it all.
That's hard.
That's but I haven't sat up there I'm glad that you asked me that question, because it made me think, okay, like, what am I forgiving? But then I had to speak to my past self and be like, I am apologizing, or I'm feeling bad that I hurt you or that I let you down. But it's like, this is all I could do. This was the best that I could do. And it's like, no, you good. Because like you said, that's all the best. I had to have that conversation internally just now. And I'm obviously going to sit with this and just really be like, oh, dang.
Because
how do we
grow? How do we grow?
By experiences.
I mean, is it usually, do you grow by the good experiences?
No.
Challenges.
No. It's those challenges. Like, you have to have them in order to become a person that can even pause and say, like, I'm going to go back and sit with this.
Yeah.
There's no other way. There's no other way to grow besides to have some challenges.
Yeah.
Without it, you become stagnant.
Yep. The friction is necessary.
Baby.
Yeah.
I do not like that.
Yeah, I know.
We have a lot of conversations about like, that. I'm glad that you're honest about it, because most people won't say, like, you'll show up in the way. Like, we know that growth is uncomfortable. Like, we understand all of those things on the surface level. And then when life starts to present something, we're like, don't bring that over here.
Oh, yeah. No, when things are hard, I'd be like, oh, no, I retreat. If something takes up too much brain power, oh, no, forget it. I was trying to plan something the other day. I was like, oh, this is too much brain power. completely retreated. There be times she try to get me to do something. And I feel like for if there is an inkling that is not gonna go right, I be like, oh, I'm good. She be like, friend, you didn't even try. I don't need to.
And I can receive that because you're honest.
It's like
You're honest. Like that alone will set you free. That alone will set you free.
But that's
you're
what
honest.
I say that on the show all the time. Like I can be truthful. I don't have to lie to everybody else because I tell myself the truth.
Right.
The hardest thing to do is tell your own self the truth. Because sometimes you feel like you gotta lie just to keep on going. It's like, nah, baby, this is not going well. This is not working out. And because I do that because I'm honest with myself, I'm able to come into different places of acceptance.
Right.
When I know.
So you're open to it. You just have your own process.
Yeah.
She has her own process.
Yeah. I do. And it's a process.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So this has been really, really good. I hate for it to wrap up, but I do want you to tell them more about what you have going on, where they can find you, how they can support. Just let us know.
I'm currently still expanding my capacity now, but all of this is new.
Yeah.
I am Raquel, the capacity expert on Instagram. I got a lot of hype, and it's kind of long. So. But I think if you put that in there, you can find me.
We'll put it in the description and stuff. Don't worry about that part.
I don't know. Like I'm okay with saying like I don't know what I have going on. Like when I first went viral, like you had all these opportunities that were presenting itself, and then I was like, all right, let's slow it down a bit. You ain't got to take everything that comes through.
Yeah.
What do you want from this? Because I wasn't expecting it. Mm-hmm. So I'm really okay. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I'm okay with that. Like, I'll continue to let it unfold as it should. I mean, I have an ebook.
Mm-hmm. What's it called?
What's my ebook called? Oh, it's expanding your capacity, like breaking limits and breaking barriers.
Okay.
So that is in my bio. But I have a lot of ideas, but I don't want to be reactive to the viral moments of it all because that's not what has gotten me to this point. It's like I've been grounded in like who I am. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking my time and like if the people go, they go. Like I enjoy creating content, right? Mm-hmm. So that's not gonna stop. Like I enjoy creating videos to where people are like, let me think about this, or so I'll continue to do that. I still have a full-time job that I actually like. Like when I say my life was good before this, like my life was actually good before this. Like
you have a foundation.
Yeah, I was good without it. So I am allowing myself the space to let this evolve how it should. I know most people are like, yeah, I don't know what's next.
That's good though. And that's why people are drawn to you because it's authentic.
Yeah.
You're not trying to go viral, say the next big thing. And there's a lot of people out there doing that. Yeah. You just being you and being real. And that's what people like.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'll let y'all know, like.
So follow you just on Instagram. Do you have like any of the other ones?
Do you have YouTube?
TikTok?
They keep telling me to get YouTube, but
yeah, to get your YouTube, honey.
Because what's usually following, then you need to monetize. I'm like, I ain't even figured out how to monetize on Instagram yet. Like,
I mean, gotta monetize your Instagram.
It's not. It's not
Maybe
monetized.
Pull it up when we get off here. I'm gonna show you money, honey.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm not monetized on. I'm not monetized on Instagram either.
But baby, you be putting out some good stuff.
I got it like that, honey. I got it like that.
Okay. Maybe Big Bang Hank over there tell you what, we're gonna put our stuff in there then. Okay. So again, like she's saying, like just wrapping up, what do you want to leave with our audience? Like, because I'm not sure how familiar you were with our platform before you came here, but like who listens to us, who sees us, who watches us, what would you say to them?
I would say that today, especially with a lot of conversation around mental health, it is really easy to become wrapped up in your pain. It's really easy to become wrapped up in your story. At some point in life, we all are victimized, but you don't have to be a victim. Mm-hmm. And continue to place yourself around people that invite some level of discomfort, because discomfort is necessary for growth. For some people, discomfort is the price or cost that they pay for a meaningful life or a well-lived life. So everything doesn't have to feel good all the time. The goal is to become better. But if your focus is always on feeling better, you probably won't become better. And that's where the emotional fragility comes in.
That's good. That's really, really good.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So good. So good.
You want to do the outro?
Sure. Well, thank y'all so much again for tuning in to this awesome episode. Catch us next week on another episode of
Your Favorite Aunties Podcast. Bye.